Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I just got the Nexus 5X in, and today I wanted to do something a little bit different, kind of change it up. So earlier I did an unboxing all on Periscope, and hopefully there's a box appearing somewhere on the screen right now that you can click on, and if you want to see the full unboxing, you can check that out over on Periscope. It's at Joe Billio, so JoeBillio. And I don't know, I might upload that to YouTube later. But now I just kind of want to do my first impressions of the phone. So I got it pretty early this morning from FedEx. So I've had it for about 6 or 8 hours, kind of right about now. So I just kind of want to give all my first kind of 6 to 8 hours impressions of the phone, and then give y'all an opportunity in the comments below to ask some questions and see what y'all want to look at in the full review. So here is the Nexus 5X. I got it in carbon. So we'll start off like going over kind of a little bit what's new on the phone. So what's really new about the phone is the software. So it's the first phone to ship out with Android M. Android M has two kind of, or Android Marshmallow has two real big features, new features on it. So one is now on tap, and then the second one is doze. So I haven't got a lot to play with those. I did some like wallpaper research earlier, and Now on Tap was telling me all about Darth Vader, so that was pretty cool. But it seems like that can be pretty useful, and I'll probably go over that slightly in the review, but that's probably going to be left over for another video. Also, on the rear of the phone here, you have a fingerprint sensor. So what's also new is that you have a fingerprint sensor on the rear of the phone here, and that's been working pretty effectively. You can see it just kind of lights up here. It's kind of hard to tell, but you just put your fingerprint on it and it'll light up. And you got to do it basically with two fingers, these two fingers right here, because those are the fingers you're going to be using on the back of your phone. And I actually like it being on the back of the phone a lot more than the front of the phone, because, and here's why, I have a very specific reason for this. So on this iPhone 6s, where the fingerprint sensor is, it's so fast that whenever in the morning, if I just like go over and try to scan my fingerprint, any notifications that are on my lock screen, like I don't even get a chance to read them. As soon as I touch the fingerprint sensor, they just go away. And that's kind of usually how I wake up the phone. Like I usually wake up the phone by just like touching the home button. And so that's kind of been pretty annoying actually. It's like too fast. It works too effectively on the iPhone 6s. So I like it being on the back here because I don't have that problem. Whenever I go to wake up the phone in the morning, I can either push the side button to wake up the phone, or also another like really awesome feature that's in Android M or Android Marshmallow is a ambient screen mode. So in which this phone has, which I already love that feature. So basically anytime you just move the phone, if I just like move it around really quick, of course it's not going to do it now from a still state, I guess. If you move it around, here it goes. And ambient mode just pops up and you can see the screen, like all the notifications you have. I love that feature already. And another way that you can wake it up is just by putting your finger on there, and it'll just go and it'll kind of skip the notification screen, so you still have the kind of same problem, but the ambient screen mode helps out with that, or you can just push the power button. The thing I don't like is that it doesn't have double tap, so you can just, if you double tap the screen, it's not going to wake up. That's not like particularly great, but you can live with that. Another cool feature is that you can hit the power button twice, and that'll wake up the camera. And so you can take a very quick snapshot there, which is really cool. And we can get a little selfie picture here. Works super fast, and that'll lead me talking about like what I already love about this phone. Camera, I haven't got a ton of time to test it out, but I can already pretty much tell you that this is going to be the best camera that you're going to get in a phone that costs less than $400, hands down. It's the same exact camera sensor and all that's in the Nexus 6P, which is like another phone that Nexus just released that's about $150 more. So you're already getting the high quality camera. It's going to be a little bit different just because of different software. This is made by LG versus Huawei, which is what the Nexus 6P is made by. So there are going to be some slight differences, but like you're getting a premium camera in this Nexus phone, which you gotta love for just $400. And just the few shots I've already taken, it's super fast, super effective. I noticed in some of the hands-on reviews earlier I watched about the phone that people were complaining that the camera's too laggy. that it wasn't specifically great, especially if you're running a bunch of apps. It kind of stuttered with those 2 gigabytes of RAM. But right when I opened it up, I actually got an update on this phone, which I'm imagining just came out today because this is the first retail release day. So I think a lot of those problems have probably been fixed because I haven't noticed any stuttering or lag or opening up the camera whatsoever. Been super smooth so far. Another great thing about this phone that you're gonna love is gonna be the screen. So the screen is not Quad HD, it is 1080p, but on a 5.2 inch screen, that's still pretty good. It's I think somewhere around 420 pixels per inch. The screen looks super crisp. I don't have any complaints about that. On top of it not being Quad HD, you're gonna get better battery life out of the 2800 milliamp battery. So I'm actually kind of a little bit happy that the screen resolution is 1080p. I think Quad HD, for my own personal taste, is a tad bit overkill, especially in a smaller phone. I think 1080p is more than enough to get done what you need. And another thing, the reason I got the 5X in the entire first place is that I'm not a huge phone guy because I have average size hands. I don't have little hands. I don't have big hands. I have very average size hands. But I just found working with the 6 Plus to be a little bit cumbersome. So I generally try to stick to smaller phones. And I think 5.2 is actually like the perfect screen size for me. I really like it. It's bigger than what I have in my iPhone 6s, but it's not so big that it is unwieldy. I can still reach pretty much anywhere on the screen I need to get to. So I definitely do like the screen on this phone. Some negative things we'll talk about on the phone that I don't like right away is the build quality. So a lot of the earlier like hands-on reviews, people were talking about like, it didn't feel that great, and it really doesn't. It doesn't feel cheap, but it does feel cheap. If that doesn't make any sense, but that's how I feel about it. So how to phrase that, I think, is that the Nexus 5X feels cheaper than the original Nexus 5 and the Nexus 7, in my opinion. That's mostly because it feels a little bit hollow. So when you pick up something like an iPhone 6s, it feels like everything's been crammed in there. Like it feels solid. When you pick up this phone, it feels a little hollow. It feels like there's empty, dead space in there that could have been used for something, but just hasn't. And another thing you can feel is that it's definitely top heavy. And so there's a very good reason for that. That's because the fingerprint sensor, the NFC chip, the camera sensor, everything is pretty much packed up here on the phone. So that kind of is going to lead you to a top heavy phone, and you can definitely feel it. Like it's definitely heavier on the top than it is on the bottom, and you notice it. So I'm not super impressed with the build quality. It doesn't have that rubberized kind of grainy feeling textured back that the Nexus 7 and the Nexus original 5 had. So I have a big complaint there. And it's just, it doesn't feel quite as great. It just feels like hard plastic. I'm definitely going to be putting a skin on it. I can tell you that right away. All right, guys, well, that's pretty much all I have for right now. So if you want to see the full review, be sure to hit that big red subscribe button down below. And if you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave that in the comment section down below. Until next time, guys, it's been real.